How will Micah's absence, do you think, affect your view of the Packers?
Well, in order for us to consider them contenders, like you have to prove to us you can win a game without Micah Parsons. And I don't think it's just on the defensive side of the ball. Like when you see that full screen, they went from about 25 points a game to 19 points per game. So that has to do with the offense and obviously the defense not getting stops, turnovers, and different things of that nature. But if Micah Parsons isn't going to be out there on the field, who's stepping up for them? There's a lot of guys on this team that the average viewer is going to hear names like Lucas Van Ness and say, well, who is that? Baron Sorrell. Who are these guys that are going to have to make plays and find ways to get to the quarterback? Because this isn't a team where the roster has drastically improved from a year ago to this year. They've switched defensive coordinators. John Gannon takes over. And now this coaching staff is responsible with building a team knowing Micah Parsons isn't going to be there for the first few weeks that can actually go out there and compete. But I'm looking not only at them, Jordan Love. Like, what are you going to do in this essence to step up and lead this team on the offensive side of the ball to score points and do the things necessary? 2 receivers left, Dontavian Wicks. They also had Romeo Doubs leave in free agency and join the New England Patriots. So now for Jordan Love, you have to take responsibility of this offense. Take the next step. Be an MVP candidate for your team to propel and be talked about in that division to win it and be contenders in that NFC to fight for a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
76ers Knicks opening night. Evan, what should we expect? Does this get your juices flowing in August?
Yes. Shay, I think they did an awesome job. Adam Silver said we got to wait for the LeBron decision to make the schedule. I love what the NBA has done. That opening night matchup, the fact that the Knicks are going to have ring night with LeBron James there is awesome. I think the best rivalry as it's developing here in the NBA is clearly San Antonio and Oklahoma City. But let's not make any bones about it. Everyone wants to have this conversation, and you guys have had it here on First Take. Who's the face of the league, right? Is it Wemby, 7'4", 7'5" Frenchman who was in the finals last year? Is it Jalen Brunson, the kind of person everyone wants their child to be like? Be like Jalen Brunson. He is salt of the earth and a dominant basketball player. Let's not get this twisted. In 2026, 2027, LeBron James is still the face of the NBA.
Oh, yes.
When we look at this schedule, you're going to go through it. I know all the tip-off games, all the Christmas Day games. Our first game on ESPN ABC, it's all around LeBron James.
Well, and that's why Adam Silver wanted him to make a decision, because he clearly moves the needle up.
I think it's fair because there's two sides of a coin. Like, yes, if you're Micah Parsons, you're looking at this and you're like, well, whatever the heck you're talking about, go back and look at the stats and look at the film. Like, I was the best player, and when you guys got rid of me, you sucked on the defensive side of the ball. So that was my impact that helped with leadership. But I think from the Cowboys' perspective and what Stephen Jones is saying, like, we have some guys in here that when a young guy comes in, I can say, go follow Evan. Go do everything he does, how he prepares, how he carries himself on the field. And that's what Quentin Williams has provided to this team, a true leader, a captain type of player that they brought over. And I think for the Cowboys, like, you reward that. That's the only way you win the locker room over and show guys that, hey, when you come in, we traded for you. You make a presence, you go out there, you perform on the field, but you carry yourself this way off the field, we're going to reward you. So when you pay Quentin Williams coming off the year he had after you made that trade, not only is Quentin Williams happy and the guys on the defensive side of the ball, but George Pickens is looking at that too. And he's just like, well, damn, Quentin got traded for, he got paid, he was a leader. If I follow in those steps, well, then they're going to reward me and I'm going to get paid too.
I was nervous. I did say to my caddy early on Sunday, I don't feel as bad as I thought I would. And then I felt pretty good the last 6 holes. Everything was kind of going where I wanted to. There was obviously nerves, but I felt like I was in control of it. And then where the nerves were really there was on the 18th, the putt on the 18th. It kind of hit me that, wow, this putt's to win the Open. And I kind of had to step away and go back and just try to get back into my routine and just try to treat it like another putt, which is obviously almost impossible to do. And I'm not sure quite how I hit that putt straight on 18. My hands were shaking. Everything was going. And all I was trying to do was just make sure I hit a good putt. And I look up with 3 or 4 feet to go, and it goes, oh, wow, it's got a chance. And it drops in that left edge. And honestly, I don't really know what happens over the next 3 hours after that. It's all a bit of a blur.
Peter, how do you think Harbaugh has already changed the culture there?
Think about a country club or somewhere really fancy, a nice 5-star hotel resort, and take the exact opposite of that. And that is what Harbaugh is trying to make training camp for the Giants. They are building calluses by making it tough and hard. They hit for 2.5 hours yesterday. They had to go to West Virginia because of construction going on at the facility. They went to West Virginia for 13 days, and they had 10 practices. They had the maximum amount of padded practices possible. Now, some of the complaints in Baltimore on the way out for Harbaugh was, it was just too hard, too tough. This guy is just trying to beat each other up. this is what the Giants were seeking. It feels like this is the toughest Giants team we've seen since the Tom Coughlin era. And with such a young roster, they're building a culture. And Harbaugh is making sure that this isn't going to be a team that come November and December is ready for adversity. And he's doing it by making it as hard as possible in August.
Up for Scottie Pippen. All right, I'm going to go first on this one as a reaction to what Scottie Pippen said, since I am the resident Chicagoan here. He didn't lie. I mean, he's got 6 rings, and he did it all with one team, and he's 6-0 in the finals too, just like MJ. So I'm not saying that someone would pick him over LeBron right now. I'm not going to go that crazy, but he didn't lie. Schrags.
Schrags, come to me. First of all, Patrick Bet David podcast on First Take. We've made it. Second of all, I look at this thing and it's like, yes, team-wise, Pippen, and then in that 94 season when Jordan was out of basketball, Pippen was number 2 in MVP, I think, to Olajuwon. Was unbelievable. So you can make the argument in a million ways. Also, at the end of his career, he wasn't chasing rings. He was in Portland. He was in Houston. Or not Houston. He was in Portland. He was somewhere else, obviously. And then, to me, it's like Pippen is one of the greatest NBA players ever. Top 50 player, top 75 player. But LeBron is probably a top
2, top 3.
What are we talking about?
I'm focused on the rings part of it. He's got 6 rings.
Well, Robert Horry. Tell me about Robert Horry. How much better?
Are we talking team success or are we talking individual? What's the conversation?
You interpret it as you wish.
He's the best Robin.
LeBron.
Absolutely, but
you guys are of a different generation.
Okay.
Pippen was amazing.
But he didn't lie. He says I got 6 rings and I didn't chase mine. That's
he lied by omission by saying that anybody would not pick LeBron if given the choice, yourself included, as a Chicago.
And then he sit down to Spike Lee.
My mind tells me it has to be the field, and I'm still going to go with the Rams. This team, you talk about Myles Garrett being on the same team, who was the Defensive Player of the Year with the MVP and Matthew Stafford. And then, we may also bring back a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year in Aaron Donald. You don't just go with this team because all of a sudden in an offseason, they just compiled a few really good players, and now all of a sudden they're supposed to be good. They were really good a year ago. Like they were a team that easily could have been in the Super Bowl. They were one of the teams we talked about at the top of the league all season long. One of the weakest spots on their team last year, and probably the reason they weren't in the Super Bowl was their secondary, specifically their cornerback position. Did they address that? Yes. They went and got Trent McDuffie, an all-pro corner from the Kansas City Chiefs, and then they also got his running mate and Jalen Watson. The other way you help your secondary that is struggling, you don't let the quarterback throw the ball. And when you get 2 monsters up there, potentially in Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett on that defensive line, the quarterback's not going to have much time to throw the ball. So I know conventional wisdom tells you pick the field because it's just so hard to make the Super Bowl. But when your roster's that good and you have one of the head coaches in the NFL that is the very best in Sean McVay, I just have no reason to choose another team other than the Rams.
The offensive line last year was not as good as it was 2 years ago. And Saquon Barkley was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage more than he ever has in Philadelphia. That's part of the story here. But with Jalen Hurts, the narrative that he was a passenger for his entire Eagles career drives me nuts. It diminishes the fact that he is one of the best downfield passers in football during his entire tenure there. Okay? It diminishes the fact that he has a ring and had one of the best Super Bowl performances in the history of that game. Okay? The idea that Super Bowl rings end arguments seems to apply to everybody but Jalen Hurts. The Twitter trolls, okay, seem to see the ring as an inconvenience rather than an argument settler, okay? And we're still doing this years into his tenure. He should be the franchise quarterback. He should be treated as such. Every other quarterback on the level with Jalen Hurts, it's Josh Allen has to do this. He has to put a team on his back. Mahomes has to put the team on his back. Joe Burrow has a team on his back. And with Jalen Hurts, the argument is, no, everything else has to go perfect for him. He has to have the receiver. He has to have the running back. He has to have the offensive line. Jalen Hurts should be considered the type of quarterback who rises above his circumstances. He can do that, and if he gets back to being Jalen Hurts, everything else flows from there.